Hello, listeners. Thank you for joining me on 21st Century Native Leaders. My name is Peter Dezo III, and I am here with Cyndi Frank. Cyndi owns a business in Shiprock, New Mexico, which is in the Four Corners area, the New Mexico side, which is actually about 26 miles west of where I live. So I saw a video of Cyndi. I think she was engaging people in some breathing techniques on Facebook, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. I don't recall seeing any native people doing this, so I thought I should reach out to her so she can share her story. So welcome, Cyndi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. Yeah, so talk with me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, tribal affiliation, and your cleanse.
Okay, so I am not very fluent in Navajo, the language of Navajo, so I'm hopefully going to say this correctly, and I'm just going to be real about all of this. So, Yat she Cyndi Frank Nishke, Hachitni Nishle, Do Nasht Ejedine, De Boshichi, Horichitni, De Shiche, Do Hashgana Johe, Dashanella. So I'm obviously Navajo, as you had mentioned before, and I am from Shiprock, New Mexico. That is this is where I hail from. This is the part of the res, like you had mentioned, the north corner of the east side of the Navajo reservation.
That's awesome. So, by the way, I'm also Kachini, and
I know. I was gonna say hello, brother.
yeah,
or
so we
however
are.
you, yeah.
Yeah, brother, sister. That's how we would recognize each other. I think that's something that's important and unique about our culture and native culture. So, talk with me a little bit about your business. How did you get started?
The actual business part, or do you want me to like go through the whole process of, because it's a very long process. and so
what about, talk with me about what you do first.
Okay, so my in a nutshell, I help active and underactive Dene adults acquire health and well-being. I'm a physical therapist, and I strive to provide a high-quality mobile service to my clients on and off the reservation here in this area. So what I did is I established a cash-based concierge type physical therapy business to tailor to the Dene and even non-Dene that is needed during this time, and the way healthcare is kind of coming out right now. That's it in a nutshell.
So you said cash based, so you don't deal with insurance, you bypass that process, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. A lot of people can't afford like insurances right now, so that's a niche that's kind of developed. And then a lot of times their premiums are so high that they can't like meet their deductibles and stuff, or they don't get the benefit at the end, to actually utilize all of the services that they want. So that's where we come in, and we recognize that as something that needs to be filled, and there's a need there. So I am part of a group that is coming up, and we are developing this niche. And with the way the things are set up on the reservation, it just kind of pushed me into this way of providing services.
I think that's one thing that's really important. It seems like aside from waiting at the IHS to see a physical therapist or to get any services similar to that for wellness, I always hear people saying, oh my gosh, I'm on a wait list, 3 month, 4 month. And then what ends up happening is our elders or our relatives end up going to border towns like Farmington to get massages, to get seen and treated. So I think that's one thing that's really cool about your business, and I can see how you feel a niche in the market for providing mobile. So how did you decide to operate your business mobily?
Okay. So it wasn't, I didn't have a great epiphany. It was kind of a, like I say, it was a process. So in 2017, I I had the urge to start something. Like I knew I've always, as a provider, through IHS and home health, people were always asking me, you know, do you do this on your own? Can you come back afterwards after I'm done and all these things? So I knew there was a need there. People were asking, but I didn't have the setup. I didn't have the any idea like what the rules were. Was I going to break rules? Was I going to get in trouble? So in January of 2017, that was my goal. I sat down and I said, okay, I want to beginning the process of starting a business here on the reservation. And I always had that in mind, in my head. So I tested fate and I put in an application, my idea, in an innovation challenge that was it was put out there by a group called Change Labs, and it was a award and incentive to social entrepreneurship for Navajos and to foster creation of successful Native American small businesses. And every time we had, so there was stages, and you had to answer questions, and you had to like record yourself and do pitches and all of these things. And so I did, and every time I always was like the last minute of the last hour, and I was like, okay, if this is going to happen, this is what's going to happen. So tested fate every time, and dang it, I made it to the top six. And so at the end, the top six, it was I don't watch TV. I don't have time to sit down and watch a lot of TV. So there was this thing going on called Shark Tank, and it was a Navajo type based, their version of a Shark Tank, where you get in front of a bunch of a panel of people, and you pitch your idea, and then they pretty much pick you apart, and you have to defend it. And I did that, and I got before the final, I was talking to one of the business advisors, and she was like, because I had pitched a bricks and mortar, like, okay, I need one in my community, and this is why. But she was like, mobile, you know. She's like, I thought you were going to say mobile. Now I'm so excited. I was like, yeah, why not? I'm just, it's concept, I'm still on concept phase. And so the next day I pitched it as a mobile, which changed all of my numbers and changed all of all of the groundwork I had done for bricks and mortar. And so it threw me off, but I still, it was a good idea. I didn't win because it wasn't concise. I didn't have the numbers. That was the impetus of my idea. That was the impetus of my push to get my business going. And then Change Labs. It's a what did you call it? They help the Native American businesses start up, and so they provided 2 years of trainings and support, and they helped me get my groundwork for the actual businesses. They helped me set up my website. They opened a Facebook account for me. I am so not techie, and they did all of that and really, kind of set me on my path. And that was the kind of the beginning of how my idea kind of came into fruition.
Oh, that's amazing. It's
Yeah.
interesting. I've interviewed quite a few people on the podcast, or business owners, entrepreneurs that actually went through Change Labs, and the work
Hmm.
they do is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Who were you working with? Jessica
Yes.
Stego?
Yeah. Hmm.
Was Adrian Lerma
And
there at the time?
um, I don't recall, but I do recall. I don't. I still contact with Jessica and Trisha.
Yeah.
She's the one that was the one that said, you need to go mobile. mobile, it would be such a great idea. And so that was like, why not take this advice?
Right, that's awesome. So what
Yeah.
type of education did you have to attain to be able to get to that point to start your own business? Because I'm assuming you worked for a company prior to starting this?
Oh yeah, yes, I have a lot of experience. I took the longer route, as I like to say, because people always ask me like, how many years did it take? And I'm like, okay, do you want the short version or the long version? Like, there's a lot of detouring into my story. So, um, what was your question again? I got lost in my thought.
No, that's okay. So how much, like, where did you work before you got in? Because
Oh,
obviously you needed some expertise to be able, and I'm assuming a license to practice physical therapy and I'm assuming massage as well. So,
okay, I'll set you straight on that. Let's see. Okay, so you have to have a bachelor's to begin with. So right after high school, so I went to Fort Lewis College. So you're an alumni as well, and so that's where I went in the '90s and got my degree, my bachelor's. I got a degree in general biology, and then life happened, and I started my family. I took the prereqs for the master's program at UNM at the time, and it life happened, and so I put that on hold. And as I was being home, being a mom, I noticed that there was a PTA program, which is a physical therapy assistant program at San Juan College. And so I wanted to be in this field, but I couldn't go on to the master's program at that time because I was raising my child and I didn't want anybody else to do that. So I I applied, I took some classes at San Juan College, got into the assistant program, and started working as a PTA in 2000, which is an associate's program. So I had the bachelor's, so I had to kind of go backtrack and do the associates. So there's 4 or 5 years bachelor's, and then there's 2 more years as an associate. So there's already like way over 6, 7 years of education that I did, but I felt like it was worth it, because I'm all about education and a lifetime learner. I don't think I will ever be a master of anything because I think I'm always going to be the learner. So after that, I worked here in Farmington area. I worked at IHS at Fort Defiance as a PTA in the beginning. I moved to Farmington and worked as a PTA in home health and hospice. And I worked, with people in their homes and the people that were going to die, and a lot of life experiences there. I worked in central schools. I worked with special ed, some of the ones that they need a lot of help, just very debilitated children, and worked with them. And then finally, I realized I need to get back into school. I have this degree that I'm not utilizing. I need to finish it. There's like a limit to how much time these credits last. So took some more classes to get into a master's program, and went to UNM, and then worked and went to the program and got in. It was tough. It was not easy. Getting into a program, master's program at the time. Now it's a doctorate level, but at the master's time, you have to apply, and once again, you get in front of a panel, and they throw questions at you, and they pick you apart, and you have to defend yourself as to why, you want to be what you want to be. So I did that, and I got in on first try, and I was really like, okay, yeah, cool. But having been in the panel on the other side as a senior student, a senior PT student, I realized that a lot of people don't get in the first try. A lot of people don't even make it to into a program. So here I was, kind of, not even knowing the odds, which is probably a good thing. And so, physical therapist or PT student, and then finally you have to pass a boards exam at the end, and that's a tough exam. That's a really one. Some people, some therapists, they don't. They go through the student. They go through the whole process. They get loans and all of that, but they can't pass the board, and that ends their career. And so I remember I was still working as a PTA. I always kept my license up as a PTA during the time I was going through PT school. And when I was working out on the reservation way out past Two Gray Hills. I was driving out there and got a phone call, and it was the girl from the boards, and she called to inform me that I had just missed the passing the exam. I remember being very like, oh man, that's not good. I was really upset. And I felt like I failed. No. But with failure, you learn a lot. So had to pick myself up and adjust my studying skills. I literally had to leave my home and go to the university that I at UNM and hit those books again. Just really engrossed myself, and I had fellow classmates that I stayed with, and they grilled me on tests, because we all just took the test. Some of them passed, and one of them that didn't, she was like so helpful with telling me, we need, this is what I'm studying, this, go about this path. I did that, and finally I passed the second time. It was really a happy day for me.
Oh, I bet.
So yeah, then you have to get the license, which you have to apply for the state. That's just paperwork and a lot of money that you don't have because you have debt, and you're working. So that's the process. It's right now at everybody's kind of converted to a doctorate level. So I have not sought to do that quite yet because I'm kind of busy. It's expensive, and I'm working on other things myself, on my business and my own specific stuff that I'm working on to increase my own personal knowledge of my personal skills.
Oh, that's amazing. I think that's the thing you said quite a bit in there, but just being a lifelong learner, and I think that's something that's really important. So, talk with me a little bit about some of the services you provide.
Okay. Well, I am what is called a manual-based physical therapist. I currently work uh, as a staff physical therapist at an outpatient ortho clinic in Farmington. The name of the facility is called Special K Fitness. I found her after I had the owner's name is Kim, and I talked to her about my approach of type of therapy I wanted to provide, and she's like, yes, this is what we do here. And I was so happy because nowadays the money and insurances are the dictator of how you provide therapy. And the more people you can, bring in and push out, the more money you can make. So I don't like that. But my certifications currently include I'm a myofascial trigger point specialist. So that a lot of people are like, so you do massage? And no, it's not massage. It's more of a scientific approach to figuring out what your problem is. It's like one of my client was like, oh, it's like you're looking at a car and you're trying to figure out what's wrong. Yeah, you have to diagnostically test them and see, this sound comes from this, or what is this, so you literally have to pick apart what a person's complaints are and figure out their medical history, get the bigger picture of them. Then you can kind of go in and look at what is wrong and maybe it's soft tissue, maybe it's the joint or what. But soft tissue does play a role in everything that people feel, because it's your skin, it's your muscle, it's your fascia, it encompasses you. It's your largest organ. So that is what I do. I'm a myofascial trigger point specialist, and then I go in and I identify trigger points and release them whatever plus the way I feel like the person needs. I'm also getting certified in what is called high velocity, low amplitude thrust manipulation. And so more or less it's kind of similar to what chiropractics do with adjustments. That's kind of a controversial area right now. So I do that when I really feel like I know a person and they're comfortable and they're open to it. I don't push that on anybody. It's some people just need, they just need their ankle adjusted. They just need to get that back in alignment, and everything else will kind of follow through. So stuff like that. I'm also certified in dry needling, which is a lot of people are like acupuncture. Like, no, it's dry needling. It's more of the scientific approach to finding trigger points and encephalopathies in a person's body, and then you can go in, you use acupuncture needles and identify those areas, put the needle in. We even use low-grade electrical stimulation to treat the area, and there's scientific findings that show what type of treatment settings to use to help for different type of diagnoses. So a lot of that I am currently doing. I'm also cupping. I'm also licensed in cupping, which is something that's kind of new. It is obviously you've seen the ones like from Asia, all of those types of things, and that's something that I'm just kind of learning to know how to utilize. But I've found that, like, if you have like a really tight muscle and you put a cup on there for a little while and then you go back and you try to release it, it is so easier to work with that person and that muscle because it brings down the tone and the sensitivity. So those are things that I have in my little bag of skills.
That's amazing. So I heard 4 different things. So did you have to get certified or get a license for each of those 4 different areas that you specialize in?
Yes. I can't remember the name of the company that I go through right now, but they provide for physical therapists a series of trainings that you can get so that you can become and specialized. It's another niche that is developing out there, and they too are a cash-based type of provider. That they're. I'm trying to find it. So just 1 second, so I can give them proper identification. But yes, Spinal Manipulation Institute. So you have to go get trainings like this. And these trainings are not cheap, like $700 to $800 a pop. And most of them are not close by. They're in Las Vegas or Denver, far away. So the whole process is very expensive. And they also provide, you can get, I'm trying to remember how to pronounce the actual you become qualified to be an osteopathic, which is it's a label, it's a identification to show that you have these very specialized skills. So I'm working on that and looking for anybody who wants to help me because it's expensive. It's very expensive, and but I believe that these skills are really needed, and I just want to bring it back here to the Navajo people because out there people are like, oh yeah, I've got dry needling. Yeah, I've had cupping, and it's like here people don't even understand what it is, but it is such a different way to provide therapy for people and not have to take pills. You know, it's a holistic approach, and these things work. They work.
That's so awesome. So, so you're for hire, obviously, right? I'm just curious because my wife is always complaining about lower back pain, and
Yes.
my second job here is massaging my wife every night. Her lower back,
Yes.
her legs, her feet, right? She runs, I think about,
Oh, she's a winner. Yeah.
yeah, she runs 100 miles a month, not a week, a
Oh
month.
wow.
But she's always like, oh my gosh, my back, my legs, my calves, my AT bands are tight. So I'm always massaging her. But the point I'm getting at is, so you sit at home. So if we wanted to schedule you, we call you, we schedule an appointment, you come in to our house. Is that correct?
Yes. It kind of depends. You're in Farmington?
Yes. Uh huh.
Yeah. So right now I'm trying to build out my clients in the Farmington area. So like maybe I can do a day and I can go boom, 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 try to see what works best. I mean, maybe it's maybe 2 or 3 a day or something. And that makes it a lot financially easier and then my schedule wise easier too. But yes, I would go to people's homes. Albeit, I have to trust you. You know, I have to. There's got to be safety with this. Go to the people's homes and just provide therapy, whatever you need. Based on your goals and where you're at in life and stuff like that. So yes, that's what I do.
That's awesome. So I might have to look into hiring you for my wife because my hands are starting
Yes.
to hurt from all the massages. No,
Yes, and I teach people how to help themselves. I give ideas about like types of tools you have, tools out there for your specific issue. There's tons of stuff out there that you can use to help yourself, to help maintain yourself, especially if you're an athlete. And so that's what I do, and I do that for myself too because everybody always asks, what was this? Why did you start PT? What was the reason for you to go into PT? And I was like, myself. I have issues. I needed to figure them out, and I needed to. I don't want to take drugs. I like my vital organs. I can't live on pain meds and all my life, and it's not good for you. It's not healthy. And there's ways out there. There are other ways out there to heal yourself, or at least maintain yourself. So you can have your life and live your life.
that's so awesome. I know a lot of times people, they're always, when it comes to healthcare in our country, it's always an afterthought in trying to mend things. And I think the process you're taking is taking a proactive approach to healthcare. Am I correct?
Correct. And even after, uh, being done with PT, you have what is called a continuity, wellness programs, a continuity program where you can just kind of check in on people and make sure they're doing stuff and correctly if they need help, keeping that care there instead of like the way healthcare is now is you got 2 times a week for 8 weeks, and once you're done, that's it. You're done. That's it. Now with the cash base, hey, maybe I can just check on you twice a month or once a month, and if you have any questions, maybe if you need a tune-up or you need this or that, we can work on that because things will come up. The human body needs maintenance, just like your car. Yeah,
That was awesome. I like the way you said that, a tune up. I need
yeah, you need a tune-up. People call me and say, "I need a tune-up." I'm like, okay.
That's so
Yeah.
awesome. I'll be honest. Like we take activity and physical fitness and stuff like that pretty serious. That's why I'm asking because
Oh yeah.
We regularly get massages. Actually, we used to have this lady from Shiprock that used to come in and give us massages, deep tissue
Mm-hmm.
massages in our house. So a lot of the treatments you're talking about, like I've done a couple acupuncture or whatever the name it is,
By needling. Mm-hmm.
yeah, needling, and then also cupping. I've done a seaweed wrap, so I'm
Mm.
pretty familiar. That's why I was pretty fascinated that you were offering those services because I don't know very many. Actually, I don't know a native person that does that in this area. So that's why I was like, it was pretty. I was interested and wanted to interview you. So, what is your range? Like, how far out do you go from Shiprock if someone wants to give you a call to get some type of treatment?
Well, right now I have a PT license in New Mexico only. So it's from Shiprock to the border. So I say like San Juan County. That's like my range. That's kind of where I want to be. Although I have had invitations to like go to Albuquerque and do set up shop at one of the businesses out there, and she was like, yeah, I could totally fill your whole day up with people. And so I might consider that, but right now it's just within my area here, Shiprock, Farmington, maybe Aztec, and kind of in this corner of the Four Corners right now.
That's awesome. I might send a couple of people your way, like my mom and my wife. And
Yeah.
yeah, so
One thing I have found out working with a lot of people was the people that seek you themselves are the ones that are really, they're committed. People bring other people, their family and stuff, and they're like, they they don't they don't always see the value of it. So I'm like, okay, yeah, but I really like to hear from the person themselves. Let them come to me because when they're ready, they're ready. They'll commit. I don't want people to waste their time or their money when they're not ready. Because it's a process. Everybody's in a different spot in their life, and some people are like, yeah, maybe I should start doing this, and but some people are like, I need this now, I need this, yesterday. So those are the people I'm looking for. Those people that are committed and really want to make an impact on their health and well-being.
so you see the best results when people reach out to you themselves.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad that people want to spread my information around, but I want the people who want to receive the services to contact me themselves because it's just way easier that way when there's a third person, and it's kind of it's definitely different. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It's just I definitely get way better results when people are themselves invested in themselves.
So the big question is, what are your fees? Are you on a sliding
Oh.
scale? How does it
Yeah.
work?
Well, okay. So let me tell you a little bit about myself, a little bit more. Let me pull it down here. I'm in a master's program right now, and I'm learning things. This past last winter, I was going through my Facebook. I never would check my Facebook. I just knew I had one from Change Labs and didn't really utilize it. And I saw an ad by a PT who was explaining his life like mine, totally like mine. He was doing paperwork, mainly paperwork, and he was burning out. And so I bought his book, and it was about how to make your own concierge mobile physical therapy practice. I mean, totally exactly what I was looking for. And so I bought his book and I joined his group. It is a concierge physical therapy business coaching mastermind program, and they teach you how to be successful in owning your own cash-based PT mobile program or PT practice. And this is where I am at right now in my life. So before I had like everything like established, like a paper with all of my fees and blah 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 blah. So people could be like, they could shop around and they could say, oh, that's too much. So these guys are their focus is on quality. It's like it totally resonates with me. And they're like, okay, so your price is based on how you like what you want to do, the goals you want to meet, and how you want to establish your business. You want this end goal, and then how are you going to get there? So you got to break it down to how you see yourself, and just really, it's really based on you. And also, I've I've looked at everybody's like gross income, and I've looked at prices from other therapy facilities and what they charge and all these things. So those are all of that's incorporated into what price you want to give yourself, as well as the travel, which I'm still working on that part. So when people come and ask, what's your price or how do you do it? It's still being developed. But right now, it normally would be about $95 per visit. And in that visit is everything. All of the skills that I mentioned earlier will be, I implement it if I feel I need it or whatever. But the first visit is free. The first eval is free, so that I can see if if you're all in, if you're committed to being a client of mine, and what your goals are, if they're reachable, or just if we fit together, if we will work together well. So that's the first visit, and then after that, $95 a visit. But right now, with the COVID and people not having work and all these things, I lowered my price to $80. It's $15 less, and that's it. It can change. It can change. Prices can change. It's not set in stone. I'm still learning. And so it's a fluid thing. It's not nothing is permanent when it comes to things. Yeah.
That's awesome. So
and I can barter too. Sometimes I'll barter. Like I need help with accounting. I'll barter with you. I need help with web design or anything like specific to help my business. I will barter.
that's good. I like that. Will you take sheep?
Well, I take sheep. Oh no. I have a farm. I live on a farm, and I cannot keep animals, and I'm so not the cattle person. I can't keep animals very well, except for dogs. Probably that's about it. And I have enough dogs. Anybody want a dog out there?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you shared that with us, and that way, people can hear who might need help. How can they reach out to you? I know you have a Facebook. Maybe
yes,
definitely they contact you.
Yes, my Facebook account right now is the best thing. It's Dine, Dine, and then Cynergy, Cynergy. I don't use, when I established my Facebook account, when Change Labs helped me, I didn't put my name up there because I'm shy. And I wanted my business name to be out there, but they put a spin on it for me for some reason, and it just works that way. And so Dine Synergy dropped me a message, because sometimes my phone is not most dependable, and my email, I just get lost and stuff. But with those messages, I seem to be a lot more consistent with checking those right now.
And that's on the Facebook Messenger, is that correct?
Yes.
That's how I reach out to you too. So, okay.
There is a phone number on there. It's a Google Voice phone number, so you can call me on that number. I'm trying to find it because I don't know.
To make an appointment.
yeah, but definitely the email, um, and the Gmail account that I have, it's cyndi42481 @gmail.com. That I that is my business email, and then I have a Google Voice uh, phone number there, but I can't remember it top of my head.
Is it
And
505-226-3463?
yes, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So is there
Hmm.
anything else you want to share? I don't want to take up too much of your time. You've had some really good advice, and we've had a really good discussion about your business and how you got to this point that you're operating your business and going through Change Lab. So anything else you want to share?
To share. Well, I was listening to previous interviews that you were doing with other people, and when you during this master's program that I'm going through now, they're really big on developing and growing your business, and the thing that they are stressing is like if you want to grow your business, you need to establish your famosity. Is the term they use? It's probably a made up word, but it's funny in your community, and you do this way um, by doing such things as this. Talking to people and reaching out and putting yourself out there. And I am so not that way. I'm like I say, I'm actually super shy, and so getting out there and being on Facebook and doing interviews is really stepping out of my comfort zone. We as Dene, I don't know, people just we're quiet. We're kind of a reserved type of people, but if we want to help people, then you have to kind of stand out, and that's okay. It's tough for more people. Some for harder for some than others. But so my project is just to continue doing this, to figure out ways to empower the Dene people with focus on health and well-being, and maybe even establish a book. And in the long run, I want to grow my business. I want to get on to the whole reservation and provide additional type of therapies like massage therapies or athletic trainers, and really push the meaning of the name of my business, which is called Cynergy. It's spelt with a C because it's a play on my name, Cyndi, CYN. But the synergy is the definition means like it's the interaction or the cooperation of two or more organizations or things that come together and then produce a greater outcome than when they're by themselves. So it's a coming together to create something that's great. And that's why I chose my name. That's why I chose that logo. And we as natives, I want to finish with a quote that Josh Payne, the person that established the master's class that I'm attending, he said you needed to give your permission to put yourself out there and to share the news and the information that you have, because it's amazing all of the opportunities that come up for you, especially like at this time. You need to really get out there and relentlessly put the information out there that you're passionate about, and relentlessly help people, relentlessly push yourself out there beyond the capables you thought were possible. And then you're going to have opportunities that come up more and more often when you do this. So that's what I'd like to add.
It's pretty good, and I think exactly what you said is true. So, like I was saying, I mean, I think the journey is similar for all entrepreneurs or startups. Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I also blog, right? I write stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I share the information that I learn with people.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times people, they feel comfortable with just being around them, right? But to go a little bit further and try to learn something new. And that's why I like what you said about a lifetime learner, because I'm like that too. Like I'm constantly listening to podcasts and listening to books or reading books. But like, the process of me starting this podcast, like I have probably 21,000 followers on all of my social media platforms, but it just grew because people wanted to hear these episodes. The podcast has been heard in over 330 countries, and I mean it's just amazing because I also do taxes. I have a tax business or a consulting business, but it's helped me.
Hey, we can barter.
It's helped me funnel people to my tax business, and my tax business during the COVID actually increased 200%, 300% almost. Right? I mean, the amount of clients, just because I can do it virtually. Right? I would meet with people and get their taxes done. So it just takes thinking differently and changing and making adjustments. And
exactly, and that's the whole thing that's happening with healthcare, with telehealth. You know, there's you can do the same thing and do visits via the internet, via Zoom or other platforms. So I'm in the process of doing that right now. But there's a lot of stuff out there, and I'm just trying to figure out where I fit in, and once again what I'm comfortable with, and how far I'll push it. And being a manual based is really tough because I can't put my hands on you. I can't tell where your problems are without being face to face. A lot of times maybe I can develop that skill. How am I going to do that? So I'm in the process of doing that right now, and trying to figure out that route of maybe telehealth, and maybe utilizing different types of tools like Fitbits or something to kind of make sure we're doing things right, for exercises. So yes, you got to be versatile, especially now. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I like that quote.
And I wanted to tell you that you caught me on my third Facebook Live. That was my third.
Oh, really?
Yes. I was like, oh Lordy. Yeah, here we go. So
isn't it pretty fascinating though how like that's why I was saying I'll record the video and share the video, because for some reason people want to put a voice and a face and connect that. So for some reason videos get more views as opposed to podcasts. I think podcasts are for the millennials. They'll download them and drive.
Yeah, so, I do that. I download and drive. Yeah,
absolutely. Same here, especially with spotty Wi-Fi around the Four Corners area. So it's kind of. But I mean, it's just amazing though, like technology, and I can see how with your profession you wouldn't be able to do virtual. But I mean, I went to get my eyes checked, and like the optometrist was it was a video conference. It was almost like a Zoom session, and they're like, "Oh, look in here," and they're like, "Oh, look left, look right." I'm like, went through the whole process to get my vision checked. So, and then they gave me glasses. Right, they gave me glasses for it, and the optometrist wasn't even there in the building.
Wow. So yeah, that would be awesome. I could just be therapy from home like all the time. But right now I'm still trying to figure out how that works with me. It's a process, and you just got to figure out ways. There's ways to get around this, and this is actually, the COVID is actually a good. There's always good that comes out of bad, and the good of it is within the PT field. It has pushed us into this telehealth. It has made us become more open to different ways of treatment, and even this mobile therapy now. I mean, people in the concierge program, a lot of people were getting laid off at the clinics, at the bricks and mortar, and now people that had their own business actually were growing. They were getting overfilled because people were, the therapists were going to people's homes and working with them one-on-one more versus them having to come to the gym, So it's happening, and I think I'm right at the precipice of this change, and hopefully I can ride the wave, and I can make it so that it's successful.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you sharing your knowledge and your experience with me and people that'll hear this episode. Those are
Mhm.
all the questions I have, and we're pretty much all set.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We are all set. I hope have a good day and wish you continued success. I'll definitely share your work on my sites.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Talk to you
Right.
later. Okay. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye.